I always, a lot of people, I've heard them say that you can never make friends when you're 30 or 40 or 50. You make friends when you're a kid, and they're the friends that you're friends forever, But I make friends, new friends every year, and I'm not saying this just because they're sitting here, but I make new friends every year who ride motorcycles with me, and they're like brothers. I get in trouble every day when I come to the States. I broke my hand a few days ago, and I called a friend of mine who's a nurse. I was like, I'm in trouble. His name is Scott. He rode motorcycles with me in Pakistan. He came out to, rescue me. When I don't have a car, I call one of these guys and they give me a car. When I need a motorcycle, I call one of these guys. I need a motorcycle. So this is like a family I have in the US, and the family keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. So I'm really glad you two could make it out to Pakistan, and hopefully, inshallah, I'll see you guys again. Any questions you guys have? I'd love to answer. Actually, we three would love to answer. Really, a fun fact about this guy, Tom, his nickname is Bagel. He has ridden a Vespa scooter in all 50 states. He rode a Vespa scooter from Santa Cruz to Alaska. So if anybody thinks they've done some amazing things in their life and they're crazy, this guy is the definition of crazy. And my really good friend Brooke, he rode a bicycle from the East Coast to the West Coast. Can't even imagine how much effort and sweat and love went into that. And the third guy, Michael, rode a Vespa scooter across the Sahara Desert. So these are some amazing people I get to meet every year. So please shoot over some questions. We don't have another mic, so you'll just have to yell out the questions. Any questions? Yeah.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you on this amazing job. For you to achieve going to Pakistan, going to the remotest places in Pakistan, and bringing the images of the Northwest. I mean, we are all amazed by your work. And then now I feel like since you have been there, there's such a you might have to disperse. First of all, I like to congratulate you all three for doing an amazing job and bringing the images of Pakistan that probably half of us are not aware of that. So congratulations again to you. And then now, we have so much going on right now because of the terrorism of Pakistanis and Muslims. So now I feel that you have like kind of a burden with another job of dispersing that image. So please do that, and we love you for what you have done. Congratulations again, and wishing you many more visits to Pakistan.
Thank you very much. And yes, that's one thing that I tell people when I talk about my journey through Pakistan, is that the people that I met along the way are just everyday people like everywhere else, and that if anything, Pakistan is the victim of terrorism as much as the United States is, and that we have so much more in common than we have that which is different or divides us. And I encourage people, everyone, to get to know people from other parts of the world, because that is how you create understanding and friendship, and that is needed so much these days. Thank you.
They're shutting it down.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
When are you guys doing it next? And how about mountain bikes?
Yeah. We can do. I have this amazing tour coming up in September 8th. It's probably too soon for you, but this specific tour is an all-women tour. I have 14 women coming from 5 different countries, and I'm taking them all over the northern areas for 2 weeks. I'm really excited about this September trip is because there's this lady, Elspeth Beard. You should Google her when you go home. Elspeth Beard. She was the first British lady to go solo around the world in 1981. She just came out with a book about her travels. She, in 1980, I think in the early 1982, she traveled from India into Pakistan and then went into Iran. And I think she did parts of Afghanistan as well. And just her story is unreal. And I've been following her for years. And so she is coming to Pakistan this year. And I'm like super excited. And then there's about 6 women from the Bay Area. There's Denel Lynn, who has, I think, 2 or 3 Guinness records on motorcycles. From riding motorcycles around the world in different categories. So she's coming. So I'm super excited about the September trip, and that's why I'm going back to Pakistan day after tomorrow to prepare for that trip. And then every year I do a trip or two, and I invite people from all over the world. So you can check out my website, which is adifferentagenda@gmail.com. adifferentagenda.com, or the same on Facebook, A Different Agenda, and then you can shoot me a message, and whenever I finalize the date, I can let you know. About bicycles, if you have a big enough group who would be interested to ride bicycles up in the mountains, I would love to get you guys over there as well. I rode a bicycle a year and a half ago from the China border all the way down to Karachi. I did about 2,600 kilometers. It took me 81 days and a knee. I lost my knee in that trip. It was really bad. I promised after that that I will never ride a bicycle after that. It was horrible. But I just wanted to, I feel if you're going from A to B in a plane, you skip everything in the middle. If you go in a train, it's the same. You skip everything in the middle. If you go in a car, you see maybe like 80. You see 20% in a car. On a motorcycle, you see maybe like 40%. But on a bicycle, you see all the way up to maybe like 90%. The cars that are going that are crossing you, they slow down to say hi to you. The guy who's selling the fruit on the side of the road, he says hello to you. Anyone on a motorcycle will turn around and be like, what the hell is going on? Why is this guy on a bicycle wearing a helmet in the middle of nowhere? So I went through, I started from Khunjerab, went all the way through Punjab, through interior Sindh. A lot of people from Punjab, from Lahore were saying, don't go to Sindh, you will get shot. And a lot of people from Sindh were like, don't go to the northern areas, you will get shot. So everybody is scared of everything, but I think the only scary part is the media. If you stop watching the news, everything's fine. I was all alone, no security whatsoever. You can ask these guys. I didn't have any security on this trip as well, or any trip. Pakistan is so safe. It's hard to explain it in words. I guess I think Tom and Brooke will do a better job at explaining if we ever needed security or anything like that. So a bicycle trip, I'd love to help out in any way I can. Motorcycle trips, shoot me an email or send me a message, and we'll plan something out. And I'd love to, if Brooke could say a few words about how unsafe he felt, and if he felt we needed some security with us on our Vespa scooters. We were so slow.
So with regards to safety, the terrorism question is the question that we've gotten from most people about this trip. It really is the media hyping it up. I felt much more safe in Pakistan than I do here in the Bay Area. I mean, everywhere we went, here, and Americans, it took us a few days to sort of normalize into the situation and just realize that the people staring at us were just saying, wow, I've never seen a white guy before. But after that rang true with us, and people would just come and say hi. They wanted to meet us. They wanted to know what our opinion of Pakistan was. The truth of the matter is that people were just wonderful to us. Everywhere we went, one, they wanted to know why we were doing such a stupid thing. And two, they wanted to know what they could do to help us. it was just very endearing. I think while we were there, we grew to sort of really love the attitude of people. So, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I'll add that really the biggest dangers that we had to worry about were the conditions of some of the roads and landslides and boulders and things like that.
Nature in general.
Nature, yeah. So that was the biggest thing that we had to worry about, and mechanical breakdowns, I suppose. But we had Gudu, our mechanic, with us, who did an excellent job.
A really so of course there's a lot of landslide. Can you guys still hear me? So there's a lot of landslides, you know, the Himalayas, the Karakoram, the Hindu Kush mountain range. The three biggest mountain ranges in the world collide with each other in Pakistan, in the northern areas. So of course there's a lot of landslide, and every year, you know, we would get stuck for, you know, a couple hours, a few hours when there's a landslide and they're clearing it out, and they wouldn't let us through, and we have to wait for a few hours. You know, I think max it has been like 4 hours we had to wait.
It was really just a good excuse to have to.
But you know, if I have foreigners with me, I get free tea and free food everywhere I go. So I love traveling with these guys. They don't charge us for food. It happened with us in Gilgit and a few places. We went to a restaurant, and the owner came, and I tried to explain it to him. These are my friends. We're riding around, and he wouldn't charge us. So I just ordered some more. I'm just joking. And then, every year, you know, this would happen, and I would feel, you know, some of the bikers would be like, you know, oh man, we're stuck again. And then 2 days later, there's another landslide, and we're stuck again, you know. But I always tried to tell them, you know, it'll all be clear in a couple hours. Just, you know, wait it out. But now I have an amazing thing to say back to them. And that is, you know, Highway 1 is blocked for so many months now. And, you know, at least the Karakoram highway is cleared out every day. 6 in the morning, it's cleared out, you know. But I love Highway 1, and I ride motorcycles whenever I go up, you know, whenever I come here. So I tried to go down south, it was blocked. I tried to go up north, it was blocked. I had to detour, couldn't go to Stinson Beach. So yeah, I think there is a lot of landslide and stuff. But I don't remember ever getting stuck more than like 3 hours or 4 hours or something like that. I saw a hand up here, yeah. You have a question? Come here.
What did you guys do while you guys were on the motorcycles for all that time?
For all that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was paying attention to the road a lot of the time, because sometimes you'd come around. Yeah, we're bouncing around a lot, yes. But sometimes you'd come around a corner and there would be a cow sleeping in the road, and you had to go around the cow, or there was a big boulder that had fallen. So you have to pay a lot of attention while you're riding. But it was also, there was a lot of beautiful scenery. So as we were riding, it was just wonderful to look at the mountains and the trees and the landscape. Brooke, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Mostly I just bounced up and down for 8 to 10 hours a day.
All right, any more questions?
What is your favorite memory from the trip? Single memory.
Favorite memory from the trip?
Wow.
That's a tough one. There are a lot of favorite memories. I would say going up to the top of Khunjara Pass was an absolute wonderful experience. Just making it up there alone was a feat. But just to be there and to experience it was fantastic. Chacha's chicken in Gilgit was delicious, and I was serious about how good the chicken was. If you haven't been, you have to go. And I would also say the bridge that collapsed north of Naran was also an amazing experience. We just to let you all know, there was a brief show of that in the film, but after we left Naran, we came across this bridge over the river, and a large truck filled with cement bags had gone over the bridge that morning, and the bridge collapsed on one side, and we ended up carrying our bikes across the bridge to get to the other side, and it was just an incredible scene. but I was thrilled at how we were able to get past that adversity and keep on our journey.
Yeah, I would say, big picture, my favorite part of the trip was the problem solving. Life in Pakistan is unbelievably hard. I mean, we don't know how good we have it here in the U.S., where comfort is our lifestyle. Something major, like trip ending, would go wrong every single day of this trip. Whether it was mechanical failures or mountains falling down or bridges being gone, something that threatened to end the trip happened at least once a day. And we overcame, because we adopted the attitude of the country is things are going to go wrong. Where when things go wrong here, everybody throws up their hands and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me and it's terrible." There, they just expect it and they work through it. And that rubbed off on us. And afterwards, with all of the obstacles that were placed in our way on this trip, whether they were real or imagined, we overcame them. And it inspired me. And I was really proud of myself after this trip, because I feel like I had overcome a lot of my own obstacles. The trip really made me grow.
I think my favorite part of the trip was when it was our, I think, second last day. We were coming back down from the Skardu side to Naran, and we crossed the Babusar Pass, and we were maybe like 2 hours before Naran. We pulled over at a bridge, at the same bridge, and Brooke came to me with a long face, really sad. I saw his face and I knew something had gone wrong. And as soon as I saw his face, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? You know, it's the second last day of the trip. What's going on? And I walk up to him. I was like, is everything okay? And he's like, I lost my GoPro, my little camera that he had on his helmet up front, in the back. He had decided to put that camera on the scooter up front to take the front view of you know, what he could see, you know. And somehow the mount broke and he lost the camera. And yes, the camera was $500, but more important was all the footage in that camera. And I was really bummed. Everyone was bummed. I had a support vehicle with a mechanic and a helper and a driver, and I told those guys, and they were just like, oh my God, the camera is gone, you know. And my team, my crew were like, should we go back and look for the camera? And Brooke was like, you know, it's such a small sports camera, small in size, and it'll be impossible to find it, so just forget it and let's keep riding. So, you know, our body language after that was just, we were, like, I felt at an all-time low on that trip because of this little incident, you know. And it, I don't know, it's not really embarrassing, but I just felt bad. Like, I have a guest in my country and he lost something, you know. This was the last thing I wanted to see. And then we start riding again. I get to Naran 2 hours later, an hour and a half later, and I'm waiting on the bridge where I have to take a left turn to go to our hotel. So I'm waiting over there for these guys, and I don't know, I grab a Coke or something, and I'm just sitting there waiting for them. And then this guy comes, this random guy comes to me, and he's like, I don't know, he said something, and then he just showed me the camera that Brooke had lost. So I was like, where did you find this? And he's like, I found it like a few hours ago, and I was going the other direction, but I opened the camera, I took the SD card out of it, I put it in my phone, and I saw the videos, and in the videos there were Vespa scooters. So I asked around if there were any Vespa scooters over here or anybody had seen, and they said the Vespa scooters went that way, but this guy was going the other way. So he thought Naran is, you know, in that direction, so maybe the scooter guys are going to Naran. So he got to Naran before us, and somehow he didn't see us on the road. He got to Naran before us. He was asking people if there are any scooter guys here, and finally he was just waiting on the bridge so he could give us the camera and then go back a few hours where he came from, and then I told him to keep the camera, and my friend who lost it, he's on his way, so I would like him to give the camera to Brooke himself. So Brooke, I don't know, 5 minutes later Brooke came, and you know, the local guy is super poor. He was like a taxi driver or something. He came to Brooke and he hugged him, and he's like, you know, he gave the camera, and then I saw that guy and Brooke both have like watery eyes, and that just, you know, it was a very overwhelming experience that if you lose something in Pakistan, and you might just get it back, you know, and a lot of countries, I've been to like 50 countries, and you know, I'm sure there are amazing people everywhere, but if you lose a GoPro camera, you know, I went to school in San Francisco. I know if you lose a GoPro camera in San Francisco, you're never getting back. But that experience was just so amazing, and all these years I've been telling stories about Pakistan, and sometimes I maybe go overboard and I exaggerate, and I try to make them too positive, and I always think these Goras are thinking I'm lying, you know. But then something like this happens to them in front of them, and you know, it just felt amazing. I know Brooke wants to say a few words about his camera experience.
That was a truly unbelievable thing to happen. I mean, this started early on in the trip, because obviously we were making a film, so we were loaded down with cameras. We were filming everything we did. The first time we stopped and got off the bikes on the first day and rested, I did exactly what I do here in the Bay Area or anywhere I'm traveling. I started taking all the cameras off the helmet, and so I could lock them up. And Moin stopped me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm securing all the cameras, the expensive equipment." "Just leave it." No, we're going to go inside the building, so I'm going to make sure no one takes the cameras." "No one's going to take the cameras." "Well, why would they not? They're very good, expensive cameras." Because they're not theirs. And just growing up in America, that is not a cultural thing that you think of. And he was just positive that people of Pakistan knew right from wrong. And it is amazing. It is. The only other funny thing about returning the camera being returned to me is it gave me pause when I was getting on the airplane to fly home, because obviously the first question that any airport security person says, "Have you accepted anything from anyone you do not know?" "No, sir, I haven't." Question?
What was the bumpiest part of the ride?
I love this question. Give me 5. That was my favorite question.
I would say that the bumpiest part of the ride was definitely Deosai National Park. It was beautiful, beautiful scenery, but the bumpiest, roughest road of the entire trip, I think.
I think we'll have to explain what Deosai means.
So in up on top of the large mountain, these little scooters have 8-inch wheels, but the mountains have 10-inch rocks.
And Deosai Plains is a big flat area, about 13,000 feet up in the sky, you know, on top of a mountain, and it's huge. It took us like 5 or 6 hours to cross it, and it's the second highest plains in the world, and there's no road there. It's all off-road, rocky roads there, and it's so up high. It's above the tree line, so there's no trees, no shade. It's super sunny, and it's a difficult area to go through. And if you just go through in one day, I mean, it's not that difficult. But I've spent a few days there, and slowly it gets to you, the elevation, and by the end of the second day or third day, you start to feel the height, the elevation, and the mosquitoes of Deosai are notorious. They will eat you up if you don't take care of yourself. Because it's so up high, I think mosquitoes just look for humans to eat, and they don't have anything else.
So I don't know if you saw in the end of the film, I was the one who fell in the river. And so the whole trip across Deosai, that was right as we were entering Deosai. The whole trip, I was soaking wet. And it was one of the top most miserable experiences of my life. I loved it. It was fun.
I think we're done here. One last question. Yeah. One last question, then we're done. I promise, Robin.
Again, just by watching this, it's such a nostalgic thing. Just we just want to go back to Pakistan, and all the incidents that you're saying about that just reflects the honesty and the friendship, and how eager they are to really embrace other people from other faiths, and like you are Goras, and I think they're very fascinated. So thank you again. And one thing I wanted to ask you about, you're saying that you're taking like 5 women expedition to Pakistan, 14, sorry, but is it totally based on bikers? And if other people want to go, what are the conditions? Are there any preconditions? So if you could explain, and then not everybody is a biker. Okay, so please do that.
This trip, this current trip that is in September is an all biker trip, and just because we'll be on motorcycles, and like Brooke, like Tom, like these 14 women who are coming, they really enjoy riding motorcycles, and we don't mind sitting on a motorcycle for 12 hours or 15 hours every day. However, sitting in a car for more than 5 hours is horrible. So it's very difficult to take people with me on these tours while they're in the car, because I can't have them sit in the car for 12 hours. They will eventually kill me. So I would love to take you guys to the mountains as well. If you have a big enough group, I can arrange jeeps for you, buses for you, tour, guides for you. I can accompany any help you guys require. I would love to, extend that to you guys. Anybody who wants to come. The easiest way to get to me is through email, which is adifferentagenda@gmail.com. Or if you just write Moin Khan motorcycle on Google, something should pop up. And just shoot me an email, and I'll work with you on your plan according to your dates and whatever you want. I would love to have you guys come see your own country, because a lot of you have never been up north. Just like my parents, I've been trying to convince them to come with me up north, but my mom has the severe asthma, and she's just too scared to go up in the mountains. So I would love to help any one of you in any way. Bicycles, motorcycles, jeeps, just walking. I'll walk with someone if they want to. So shoot me an email, and thank you very much. And thank you, Brooke and Tom, for coming here and making this event really cool and special for me. And thank you so much, guys.